Yeah, hello everyone. Good evening, Sai here. Yeah, hi Praveen. Yeah, hi Majid. Okay, so let's start our discussion today. Today we are going to talk about the high-level architecture of Android, and we'll start working with some of the points to discuss here. So as we know that the Android operating system is built on the Java and Linux kernel. The Android operating system is built on the Java and Linux kernel as a base. So let us see in every Android powered mobile how the components will look exactly here. So the bottom layer is nothing but hardware. Hardware is nothing but your motherboard or something. Your motherboard and sensors and your webcam, camera, speakers, all these things, hardware components these are. On the top on the hardware component, we have Linux kernel. On the top on the Linux kernel, we have Android runtime. Android runtime. On the top on the Android runtime, we have on the top on the Android runtime, we have Android services. On the top on the Android services, we have Android applications. So this is about the high level architecture of Android. Okay, so every Android powered mobile contains Every Android powered mobile contains all these components here: Android apps, Android services, Android runtime, Linux kernel, hardware. So all these components are available. Okay. So this is the important point. So whenever if you switch on the mobile, whenever if you switch on the mobile or power on the mobile, initially first one welcome screen will come, right? Like your company, that mobile company logo, something. It will show sometime, like 1 minute or 2 minutes. Then after that, your home screen will come. Means you have to enter your password to open the lock. So before your home screen, in between the process, booting process will be done. So booting process is nothing but it is a process of initializing. It is a process of initializing the hardware components. That means your hardware services was activated and your Linux kernel is initialized. So I already told you that kernel is a mini operating system. So Linux kernel is a mini operating system of Linux. So Linux kernel is a mini component. Linux kernel is a mini component in your operating system. So kernel takes most responsibility. So what was the responsibility the kernel will take? Managing the memory, multitasking, that is nothing but scheduling the available time of the processor. That means allocating the idle time of the processor for our task. Task means your operations from our application. That is nothing but scheduling only. Kernel will contact with hardware. Kernel will communicate with the hardware. So whatever the legacy hardware components are there, means old versions of hardware, or if any new hardware was introduced in the market that are easily supported. Linux kernel 99% supported to any type of hardware. There is no problem in that. And Linux kernel is a command-based operating system. Linux kernel is a command-based operating system. So what do you mean by command-based here? That to be processed. That to be processed in the commands. That means sending a UI. That means commands. Everything is commands. That means in our Windows, for example, Windows is a GUI based operating system. In Windows, if you want to copy a file location from one file location to another file location, what you are generally doing, right click on the file, you have to select the copy option, and wherever you want to copy, you can right click again in that area, paste. This is what GUI operations. But in Linux, everything is commands. So command based is very fast. Command-based operating systems are very fast than the GUI-based. And Linux kernel is a open source. No need to pay even single rupee for that. No need to pay even single rupee for that. So everything will be handled by this component. So Linux kernel, on the top on the Linux kernel, we have a system called Android runtime. So like in Java, we have JVM, Java Virtual Machine, to execute our Java applications. Similarly, in Android, we have an Android runtime component. So this Android runtime component is responsible to execute our Android applications. So the point is, every app, so whatever the app we have in your mobile, suppose if you go to your home screen in your mobile, so whatever the app icon you clicked on your mobile, your app is opened, right? You can see your app. So who will execute that application? That application is executed by a core component called Android runtime. So this is the important point what you need to understand here. Okay, so every Android application, so it will execute on Android runtime. So Android runtime acts as a mediator between our Linux kernel and our Android applications. So every Android application executed on Android runtime system. So this Android runtime system acts as a mediator. This Android runtime system acts as a mediator between our Linux kernel and our application. So that's the most important point, guys, what you need to understand here. So what are services actually? Services are the hidden components. Services are the hidden components. Services are the hidden components here. Okay, that means it's like a thread. So Android services are the real hero of our Android operating system. Android services are the real heroes. It will do lot of operations in the background. For example, how our Android application communicates with the camera, how our Android application communicates with the video player or audio player, how it will play video or how it will play audio, how our Android application communicates with alarm, how to access your contacts. So all these things are taken care by services only. The services are the major component in our Android. So services are not visible to you. Those are running in the background. Even though, see, you will get lot of notifications on your mobile, right? Who displays that notifications? Services only. If someone is making a call to you, how you get incoming call? Services only. If you are making a call, how you are making a outgoing call? Services only. Everything, A to Z operations, what are the things you are doing on your mobile, including everything. So the services will take care about all these operations for you. Remember, Android runtime component is responsible to execute our Android application. That is nothing but the bytecode instructions are converted into binary code instructions. Your Android runtime will take care about that. These binary code instructions are processed by our processor with the help of Linux kernel. So the job of Linux kernel, I already told you, memory management, scheduling, that is nothing but multitasking, finding the availability time of the processor, how much idle time is there, that will be allocated to our task. The processor is responsible to process your instructions. So the Linux kernel is responsible to communicate with your hardware. The Linux kernel is responsible to do memory management. The Linux kernel is responsible to do scheduling, nothing but multitasking operations. So all these things will be taken care by Linux kernel. So what is the job of Android runtime? Android runtime is nothing but executing our Android application, nothing but converting our bytecode instructions, our Android applications, intermediate code. I will tell you, whenever if you compile Android applications, all these Android applications code is converted into bytecode instructions like Java. In Java also, if you compile the program, compiler translates your Java code into bytecode instructions. And these bytecode instructions are saved into class file in Java. But in Android, DEX file is created. Once your Android application is compiled, the DEX code is generated. Dalvik executable code. That is nothing but the bytecode instructions. So whatever the bytecode instructions generated by the Java compiler and whatever the bytecode instructions generated in our Android, both are different. This is Dalvik executable bytecode instruction in Android. That is, it is more compressed bytecode. It is a more compressed bytecode instructions as compared to Java. That means you cannot see the class files in Android. In Android application, for every Android application, the DEX file is created, Dalvik executable file. So what the DEX file contains? the text file contains Dalvik executable code instructions. The text file contains what? Dalvik executable code instructions. Yes, you can see that bytecode also if you open the text file. So our Android runtime system is responsible to process our text code instructions into bytecode instructions into binary code. So that is about the structure of our Android, guys. Okay, is it clear? So this is nothing but the high level architecture of Android. So that's why, so remember guys, booting, whenever if you power on the mobile, first the company logo screen will come for 1 minute or 2 minutes, and after that immediately the home screen will come. In between that process is nothing but a booting. So booting is nothing but it is a process of activating all these layers. So every Android powered mobile is having the same architecture. Your hardware components, the Linux kernel, the Android runtime system, the Android services, and Android applications. So Android applications are nothing but what? The applications which are downloaded from the Google Play Store. What are the apps you downloaded from the Google Play Store? All these apps are available. So where these apps are located? By defaultly, these apps are installed. By defaultly, these apps are installed into the secondary memory of your mobile. Secondary mobile means your mobile hard disk. In the reverse direction, top to, not top to bottom, bottom to top. Okay. So by defaultly from every mobile, some apps are come by defaultly. These apps are pre-installed apps. The device by defaultly comes with these apps. And similarly, you can install like WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, different apps are available in the Google Play Store, and you can download them and you can install. So all these apps are available in the secondary memory, means your device hard disk. Like you have a 32 GB, 64 GB, like that we have, no, that is nothing but your secondary memory, hard disk of your mobile. If sufficient space is not there in the hard disk, you can install the apps on your memory card also. If sufficient memory is not there, you can install the apps on your memory card also. So what happens if you install the apps on the memory card? Those apps are visible whenever if memory card is plugged in your mobile. If you remove that memory card, you cannot see that app icon. You cannot see that app icon. Clear, guys? So memory card, we are calling it as external memory. Okay. So your mobile is having a RAM. RAM is nothing but a primary memory. Inside a RAM only, your processor is going to process your instructions. Inside in your RAM only, your processor is responsible to process your instructions inside a RAM. Clear what I'm saying? So the multitasking or the scheduling operations, the amount of memory allocated internally for managing these tasks. Task is nothing but a group of instructions only. Instructions are nothing but binary code instructions only. Who understands that binary code instructions? Processor only. So how much amount of time scheduled for your task, that is decided by our Linux kernel. How much amount of memory to allocate, that is also decided by Linux kernel only. So what this Android services will do, I told you Android services are the major component in our Android system. So services are nothing but background operations like uploading a file, downloading a file, showing the notifications, connecting with your Android devices like camera, front camera or back camera, playing the video, audio, communicating with graphics, sensors, communicating with internet access, connecting with your phone calls, incoming or outgoing, everything. A to Z, what are the operations you are doing on your mobile? Everything is taken care by services only. So we can also create custom services also, our own services. Android comes with built-in services. You can use built-in services for your application, as well as we can create our own services also for our applications. That is about the requirement. Then this is about the story, what you need to understand, guys. So I will explain this point one more time. Android booting, it is a process of activating all the layers of the Android one after another. So this process happened whenever if you switch on the mobile, it will take some time to display the home screen. Why? Because to initialize all these layers one after another. Finally, once all these layers are initialized successfully, what happens? Finally, you can see the home screen. Whenever if you press the home button, you can see the home screen, right? In fact, that home screen is also one Android application only, the home screen. So what that home screen will contain? All your apps. So what are the apps which are installed? All those app icons are displayed by your home screen, so that you can click on any app icon. Okay. So what are the app icons you are seeing there? Who will display all those app icons? The home screen only. In fact, the home screen is also known as one Android application only. Got it? So that's the point, guys. You understand about the Android high-level architecture? Any doubts? Please let me know. Manohar, Praveen Kumar, Bishal Kumar, Amarjit, Ahmed, Abhishek, all are fine. Yes, we have a notes that I will provide every week in the last. Okay, you'll get all these points. If you want to take any running notes, it's your wish, no issue. But all these notes are provided by me. Running notes I will not give, man. No running notes, please. Because every point is captured in my notes. I have my material that I will give you weekly wise. Every week I will give my notes. Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm giving the running notes of every week. My notes only. Okay. Cool. Santosh Yadav, do you understand what I said? Looks like you're not attentive. Hmm? Okay, fine. So now once after understanding about this Android high-level architecture, now let us discuss about Android runtime. We'll discuss more points on Android runtime in detail. Okay, because this is a crucial component in our Android system. So I told you in the high level, the Android runtime system acts as a mediator between our Linux kernel and Android applications. This runtime system is responsible to translate our bytecode instructions into machine code instructions. This runtime system is responsible to transfer bytecode instructions into machine code instructions that will be taken care are binary code instructions. And these binary code instructions are processed by our processor. So that processor time, how much time allocate to the processor, what was the idle time of the processor, how much time to schedule for your task, the scheduling and all these operations are taken care by Linux kernel. All right. So now let us talk some of the points today. First of all, what is runtime? This is a common question. What is a runtime? Runtime is nothing but, in a simple term, it is a system used by our operating system. It is a system. Runtime is nothing but it is a system used by our operating system, which is taking care of converting your code written in the high level language like Java, etc., into machine code, which was understandable by our processor, as I told you. So the runtime is nothing but it is a comprises of the software instructions that execute whenever your program is running. Generally, your processors or CPU in our computers understand only machine language, binary codes. Okay? Who will convert into binary code? Usually the job will be taken care by translators. Who will convert our high level code into binary code instructions? Who will take care about that? That responsibility is taken care by translators. Okay? There are varieties of translators are there, the generation of translators from earlier days, that is from your olden days. Let's understand. Assemblers, compilers, interpreters. These are the different types of translators we have. Assemblers, compilers, interpreter. So what is assembler actually? Assembler is nothing but it is responsible to directly translate your assembly code to machine code. Assembly code is very nearer to machine code, so it is very fast. Assembler is a first translator. Whenever computers are started in the market, at that time, assembly language only. It directly translates our assembly code to machine code, so it is very fast. Compilers, that is the next generation. It translates the code into assembly code. It translates our code into assembly code and then uses assemblers internally to translate that assembly code into binary code. Two translations will be happen in the compiler. This type of process was slow because translation overhead, but execution was fast. The biggest problem compiler is that the code, whatever the machine code we got, whatever the binary code instructions we got, that was platform dependent. That is, the binary code what we run on one machine, it cannot be run on another machine because that processor, that machine structure means, I mean about the operating system, the type of processor what they are using. So that will be different. So that is the main problem. In interpreters are responsible. It translates the code. In interpreter, the code translation will be done along with execution. Along with execution, the translation will be happen. So the execution was very slow in interpreter. Line by line, your code is translated and then executed. Code is translated, then executed. So this process was very slow. So these are the different types of translators generation: assembler, compiler, interpreter. So this is we are calling generally as a runtime system. That's the definition, guys. Any questions about the generation? Any questions, guys? Bishal, Praveen, Manohar, Ahmed, Amarjit. Santosh, are you clear what I'm saying? Abhishek, guys, are you? I'm not receiving messages from you. Are you there or not? I don't know. Clear? Vishal, fine. Ahmad, Vishal. Abhishek, are you fine? Praveen Kumar, Manohar, any questions? Let me know. Program will start by tomorrow mostly. Don't hurry up on program, guys. Learn all the points first. We'll start the application by tomorrow. Don't worry. First, learn the fundamentals first. So, now once after understanding about this, the generations of our translators and all, now let us see how our Android code execution works. So let us see the diagram to get more point in detail. How our Android code execution works. Look at the diagram here. We have an Android application. We have an Android application, and whenever if you compile this Android application, these Android applications are converted into intermediate code called DEX bytecode. So your Android application, your high level code is converted into intermediate code called DEX bytecode, Dalvik executable code instructions. Okay. So this bytecode, this DEX bytecode is translated into native machine code. This DEX bytecode later, this is converted into native machine code. Who translates your DEX bytecode into native machine code instructions? Machine code means our processor understandable instructions. This will be done by our Android runtime system, either ART or DVM, Dalvik Virtual Machine. So remember guys, ART, Android runtime system, we can call it as a translator. And the Dalvik Virtual Machine, DVM. These are the two different runtime environments which are available in our Android. So either ART or DVM, both are calling it as a translators only. These are responsible to convert this DEX bytecode instructions into native machine code that is understandable by our processor of our device. Now let's see here. Suppose I have two different Android mobiles are there. Okay, there are the two different mobiles. One is Redmi mobile, Redmi Note 4 or something is there. Another one is Samsung mobile is there. Two different mobiles. So that obviously every mobile is having its own architecture. Architecture means what? The type of processor what they are using, and the type of Linux version, what type of Linux version they are using. So that is different from one device to another device. So that obviously whatever the DEX code we have, the compiled DEX code, that DEX code I can run on any device. I can install on any device. Any Android device, you can install this DEX code instruction, because in every Android device, we have ART or DVM. These runtime systems are responsible to translate our DEX code instructions to convert into our device native code, machine code instructions. So obviously DEX code is independent of device architecture. It doesn't depend. Okay. So coming to the point, the Dalvik virtual machine uses just-in-time compiler. The Dalvik virtual machine, the DVM, uses just-in-time compiler as a translator. Dalvik virtual machine uses a just-in-time compiler as a translator for converting our DEX code into bytecode instructions. Sorry, bytecode into machine code, native code. But there are some problems are there in the Dalvik. Okay. Hence, from Android 4.4 version onwards, that is from the KitKat version. Android 4.4 means KitKat version. The new runtime system model introduced, that is known as ART. ART introduced in Android 4.4 version, KitKat, the model. So ART introduced to overcome the problems coming from the DVM. So what are the problems we'll discuss now? And from Android 5.0 version onwards, that is Lollipop. Android 5.0 means the next version of KitKat, Lollipop. Their Android runtime system completely replaces your Dalvik virtual machine. Okay, that's the story, guys. So ART uses a head-in-time compiler. ART uses a head-in-time compiler. So what is the duty of ART, guys? What is the duty of ART? ART, a head of time compiler, a head of time compiler, what it will do actually? This head of time compiler is taking care about whenever your app is downloaded or installed from the Google Play Store, as soon as whenever your app is downloaded, or installed from the Google Play Store, at that time only what your ART will do, the head of time compiler, what it will do, it converts a head of time compiler during the app installation only. It statically translates the DEX code into machine code. During the app installation only, your head of time compiler translates your DEX code into machine code, and that stores into the device storage. That means into your secondary memory. And this is just a one-time event. And this process happens whenever your app is installed on the device. Okay. So what this JIT compiler will do, guys? DVM up to Android 4.4 before, up to Android 4.4 means before. What happens means your Android applications are installed into the device, means your bytecode instructions are, that is your DEX code instructions are initialized. Whenever at the time of executing the program, that means whenever your application runs every time, it dynamically translates the part of DEX code instructions into machine code. Part of DEX code means depends on the requirement, it will load the piece of code instructions every time. So as the execution progresses, that means if the execution time increases, more bytecode is compiled and cached. So JIT compiler, only part of the code, it has a smaller memory footprint and uses a less physical space on the device also. Okay. So what is the difference between the JIT compiler and your head of time compiler? JIT compiler, every time whenever your app is run, whenever if you open the app every time, it translates the piece of code into binary code instructions every time. On fly it will do. But in AOT, in head of time, in the Android runtime ART environment, the head of time compiler initially during the first phase only, every time whenever you download an app, whenever your app installed on your device, at that time only the DEX code instructions are converted into machine code of our device architecture that is stored in our device. So I can say our ART runs our machine code, our application machine code directly. Got it, guys? It runs our machine code. So whenever you click on the app icon, if you open the same app n number of times, directly it executes our machine code of that application so that it doesn't hit the CPU. It doesn't hit the CPU as hard, guys, because the just-in-time compiler in Dalvik virtual machine, what it will do during the execution, several calls will be made internally to convert into binary code instruction, the piece of DEX code. But in ART, it runs your machine code directly so that it doesn't hit the CPU that much of hard. So your battery drain will less, man. Battery cannot be drained quickly because the load is not increased on the CPU in the ART environment. Okay. So what is the common point between ART and DVM? ART and DVM both are uses same DEX code only. The only problem is in the ART is an application compiled using ART requires additional time for compilation whenever your app is installed and take up larger amount of space to store that binary code instructions during the app installation time. So that will be a drawback of ART as compared to DV. Okay, that is the guys what you need to understand here. Any questions? Hope you have an idea about our Android runtime environments, how our Android application is executed. So what is the difference between the DVM and ART? What are the differences between these two? Hope you have a clear-cut idea. So any questions, please let me know. Amarjit, Manohar, Yadav, Praveen Kumar, Bishal, Ahmed, Abhishek. Is everyone is clear? So that is about the point, guys, what you need to understand for our discussion for today. So tomorrow, still some more points we need to discuss about the Android runtime system tomorrow. Then after that, I will show you how to set up Android software into our machine. What are the steps we need to follow? Then after that, we are going to start developing the first application on Android. So we are going to start the first application development from tomorrow onwards. Okay, guys? Yes, obviously Android is platform independent. That is nothing but device independent. So on any device, you are running your application. That is what we discussed. How Android is platform independent because of DEX code instructions. So from the Google Play Store contains what? your app DEX code instructions only. Every app DEX code instructions are uploaded in the Google Play Store. So you are downloading that app. You are installing the app from the Google Play Store means you are downloading the DEX code instructions of that app. That is the concept. All right, guys. Every point is there in my notes. Don't worry. So once the batch is setted, once I got a confirmation from the management who are paid and all those things, for those people, I will share the Google Drive link. Mostly by tomorrow or day after tomorrow, this link will be changed. Who was paid, those people will get the new link. Okay, please close those things, and maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, the link will change. They'll get a new link for paid people. So I will share the drive link by Thursday or Friday. Okay, there I will upload all those things. Okay, guys, I think pretty much fine. That's all for the today's session. Tomorrow we'll continue that thing. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye bye.